Off the top, he's the Chief Marketing Officer for Norton Mitchell Marketing. David Mitchell joins us. Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, Glenn. Thank you for having me on the program.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, 6 days ago, a lot of companies put up $3 million for every 30 seconds worth of our time during the Super Bowl. Who were the big winners? Who were the big losers last Sunday?
Great question to begin with. Starting off with a big winner, I would say Pepsi Max was a big winner with their first date ad. You know, in the ad, you've got a couple at a reasonably nice restaurant, and there's a degree of discomfort. You've got the woman thinking about the man's personal and physical characteristics, and the man thinking, I want to sleep with her, I want to sleep with her, I want to sleep with her. Then a Pepsi Max appears, and he's thinking, I want a Pepsi Max, I want a Pepsi Max, I want a Pepsi Max. I think that shows a great brand message. It connects meaningfully to the product, and any product that can divert a single man's attention away from his date and thoughts like that really will connect well and be relatable. Other ads that I thought did a very
Trying to market the Pepsi Max to men.
Yes, these Pepsi Max.
Teenagers.
Well, Pepsi Max and Coca-Cola Zero are brands that were developed for the purpose of marketing to men. Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi have been more perceived in the female-oriented space of the market, and Coke and Pepsi both thought that they could capture the male drinker, but with a brand name different than the diet name, which had really had strong resonations with women.
David Mitchell, Chip Edgar here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm sitting here listening. David, what demographic are they shooting for with Super Bowl? Is there a specific demographic with Super Bowl, or are they just going for the whole spectrum?
It varies from brand advertiser to brand advertiser. Most of the time, companies that are most successful with their Super Bowl ads appeal to the absolute widest demographic possible, because pretty much everybody is watching the Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl since 1993 has had 80 million viewers, and this last Super Bowl 6 days ago had 111 million viewers.
Wow. So you're trying to target the widest age demographic you possibly can, but isn't there also some consideration as to what demographic is actually going to spend the most money?
You would think so, and a lot of times, brands will tailor their ads towards individuals and groups that are going to spend. I mean, you look at the Teleflora ad. I thought that was a very good ad. The Super Bowl was a week ahead of Valentine's Day, and it was an ad that showed that, hey, this product can really help a need in a man's life. Even though there are a lot of female viewers of the Super Bowl, football is still thought of as a way to reach men. And that was a really good example of a brand that was going to be very successful in getting to the male audience for Valentine's Day.
Right. David, this is Sam speaking. And I was curious about the level of violence in these commercials at the Super Bowl. I found them to be incredibly violent. And the one that really struck me was I think it was maybe one of the Pepsi commercials where they threw the Pepsi bottle and hit another person and kind of ran from the scene. What's your take on the violence? You didn't think that was funny? I didn't think it was funny at all. I didn't like it.
That was that Love Hurts ad. That was a Pepsi Max ad. That was a bit of a controversial ad, and also there was a racial element to it as well. But that sometimes violence works. The Snickers ad last year with Betty White playing football was one of the best ads last year, and it really connected to a human emotion that you're not you when you're hungry.
More funny and less about hurting people, but more off the cuff and very fantastical. The Betty White commercial. I mean, the Betty White violence. It didn't seem really violent to me. It just seemed kind of like really funny to think about. Knocking down grandma in a football game. So you just really think about someone actually being hurt.
That amuses you then, knocking down a little old lady.
But this Pepsi Max commercial, I mean, they really threw a bottle of soda and hit a woman in the head, and she's like down on the ground, writhing on the ground. and the person that threw the Pepsi, can is running away.
Well, let me ask Dave this on a follow-up to that, because David, I did not get to see the Super Bowl. It's a long story, okay?
Okay.
The commercial that Dan's talking about, what were they trying to say by throwing a bottle and having it hit a woman and strike her down? What were they trying to say in this commercial?
Your guess is as good as mine. I didn't really find that to be one of the better commercials. Both Pepsi Max and Doritos aired ads based on fan voting. These were ads that were not professionally designed by some Madison Avenue agency, and people have very strange tastes in commercials. I didn't think it really promoted a great brand message. So if I were a brand manager at Pepsi Max, and I had choice and it wasn't a competition, I would not have aired that ad.
Now, you talked a little bit about the Snickers ads of last year with Betty White, Dave Pagoda. They went back to the well this year with Roseanne Barr and Richard Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Was it as successful as last year, or a little less?
A little less, but still very good. It still got across a very important brand message that, when you're hungry, you can act like a diva. You're not you. I think that appeals very strongly to a male demographic, because no men want to appear like a diva, and it's a message that works. Sometimes you don't have to change things up too much. Now, Snickers does have to be careful in the future of doing the same thing over and over again, like GoDaddy has done the same thing over and over again in the last 6 Super Bowls, and I think it fell a little flat this year for GoDaddy. So Snickers still has it going on with these messages of the celebrities from yesteryear and the hunger messages, but they've got to change things up a little bit. Take, for example, Coca-Cola. The same themes appear all the time in their ads, the themes of happiness, togetherness, and refreshment, but they always change the specifics of the ads.
All right, David Mitchell, I have a question.
Sure.
Now, you're talking about, is this your own personal perception as to how well these ads are doing, or how do you measure whether these ads were in fact successful or not? It's only been a week.
That's a great question. A lot of this is my own personal perception, as I am a chief marketing officer. Most frequently, time tells the story. A great example of this is the Reebok Terry Tate ads from about 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, they got a lot of buzz right away, but they didn't materially increase sales. And at the end of the day, that's what brand advertising is all about: to increase sales and to increase the profitability of a brand. And we won't know the final score until maybe 3, 6, 12 months into the future. But the fundamentals of marketing teach us enough that we can make some pretty reasonable judgments pretty soon after the ads air, whether they're going to be successful or not.
We're talking with David Mitchell, Chief Marketing Officer at Norton Mitchell Marketing. David, a lot of people, they get shocked by that $3 million figure to post an ad during the Super Bowl. By and large, over the course of the last 10, 15 years, have companies seen enough benefit to keep doing this?
Some companies have, and some companies haven't. It's a very hard question to answer whether these ads are worth it, because you have to take into consideration it's not $3 million to air an ad. It's $3 million for just the space, for just the time. Once you take in production costs, you're looking at $4 or $5 million. For a lot of brands, that can really make a difference in terms of building awareness. And if you do it right, you build positive brand beliefs, and you are more likely to induce a purchase. And that's the goal there. Now, there are other brands, if you don't stand out. A great example that I like to use is in the 90s, Subaru, when they introduced the Impreza model, they aired 2 15-second ads that were undifferentiated. They weren't bad ads. They just got lost in the shuffle. And Subaru spent their entire marketing budget that year on those Super Bowl ads, and it didn't. Let's just say things were not rosy that year for Subaru's financial picture.
Nice. David Mitchell, tell us a little bit about Norton Mitchell Marketing and how people can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Norton Mitchell Marketing is a comprehensive brand management firm. unlike a firm that just is involved in advertising or PR, we're involved in all aspects of the marketing mix, from the products offered. You've got to make sure you're offering the right product to the right market. Pricing, my personal favorite aspect of the marketing mix. We're involved in promotion and advertising. That was really the topic of discussion here. And distribution as well. You've got to make sure that your products are in places where people can find them. And speaking of finding people, you can find me at nortonmitchell.com. That's NortonMitchel.com. There's contact information about ways to contact me there, and I look forward to interacting with as much of your audience as possible.
Beautiful. David, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you for having me on this afternoon.